Okay, for the
Go ahead.
for the spray bottle, it's okay to have it in a plastic spray bottle?
Yeah, and here's a great way to understand that. Now, does everybody have 3 hours for class today?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. If you have to drop off, Carolyn, totally fine. Just make sure you say aloha before you go. Thank you. All right. So people ask me the question. This conversation started about 5 years ago with Harry Matadine of England. And he says, well, what's with plastic versus glass versus brass versus copper, all these different vessels that people use? He says, well, what if I'm in a country and all we have is plastic? I said, think about this. This water will sterilize, alchemize, transform, and change the chemicals, the chemistry and the structure of anything into its own, to merge it into the water with everything else. So whether you put it in glass or plastic is totally optional. There's no dogma or rules in this journey. And so for like folks in Africa, they don't have access to glass bottles. Plastic works fine. To answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And the same thing is going to come true when we talk about storing it, covering it, doing all kinds of stuff with it. Any questions? So inside the chat feed, if you guys weren't here, I listed websites that you can either go to shivalifestyle.com. Now, our March edition of the newsletter should be coming out anytime now. We do have the February edition of the newsletter posted at shivalifestyle.com, so you can read what some people in the community were writing about. And we featured couples that are both into urine therapy, how that relationship can work. And it's great. It's been Chitta and Emily, and it was Ed and Jessica, Crystal and Nick. These are couples that have been doing urine therapy together for several years, which is way cool. So, any questions before we can jump into this?
Jumping.
Jumping. All right. So this was the first book I wrote called Is this backwards or forwards?
Forward.
All right. The first book I wrote was Healing Water from Within, and this came out in 2018. And it launched my career. I went from a wellness practitioner locally to an international voice for urine therapy. And then 60, 70 radio interviews and television shows later, 6 books came out of me within the last 7 years. And now I'm just teaching and lecturing and consulting. So we're going to read the prayer from this book. And has anybody ever gone to kirtan? You know what that is? It's a community group chanting. So they use a style known as caller response, which means the caller will read the verse and everyone else will repeat it. Okay, and then afterwards we'll pull up our water. And the only other thing I didn't show you, which we just now brought out to the world, is the one and only Shivambu P collapsible water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this cool thing can hold 23 ounces of your favorite beverage, and it's designed for women and men to be able to catch it. When you're done, you unscrew the top and just drink it. So this is called a pea sport, and you can get it at Shivambu Lifestyle. Hi, Patricia. We have 2 Patricias with us.
Yes.
My name is... You got an echo. Do you have your devices on right now?
Yes.
Yeah. You need to turn off the other device or mute yourself. Patricia?
Good morning, everyone. I come late, but I don't know for the hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. But...
Stay as long as you can. Can you mute your your microphone for now?
You want me to put mute?
Please. All right, so here goes. This is the sacred water prayer. This is a part of our class, and we do the same thing with international conference calls like we did yesterday. Here's the sacred water prayer from Native American tradition. I take this water of life.
I take this water of life.
I declare it the water of light.
I declare it the water of light. Are we supposed to talk?
You can say it out loud or silently,
Oh, okay.
whatever works for you. There's no dogma here. As I bring this water within this body,
As I bring this water within this body,
it allows me to glow.
it allows me to glow.
I take this water of light.
I take this water
water
of
of
light.
light.
I declare it the water of God.
I declare it
Declare it the water of God.
I am the master of all I do and all that I am.
I am the
The
master,
master of all that I do and all that I am.
So be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
Here's to your health, freedom, and happiness. May the juice be with you. So I would like everybody to take a minute or two just to introduce yourself and tell us anything you want about your journey, how you started, how you're practicing it, just in a couple of minutes, so we all get a feel for each other and hear from each other at least once during today's class. So would anybody like to go first, or do you want me to go first? Okay, no volunteers. All right. I started in 1994. 2 books were my influence. My urine therapy Bible was The Golden Fountain by Cohen Vanderkroon out in Holland. Have you heard of him? This was the original cover of his book. He's changed covers over the years. So that was my go-to at all times, because it had all the it had like 10, 11 protocols at the time, and had all kinds of great information. But that's not the book that inspired me. The book that inspired me, which I just brought back out on the market, is The Secrets of Youthing by my mentor, Leonard Orr. And so he lays out the 9-year program of the Damar Tantra and how Shiva and Pravarti educated each other and how you can heal everything, and at the end you can achieve physical immortality. But what inspired me is that he was a devotee of Babaji, who he also knows as Shiva, and I've also been a devotee or a follower of Babaji, and so it felt like Babaji sent me someone to tell me to drink my water, and I didn't have to go through the disgust factor. I drank it because I had a spiritual connection. And then over the years, I was working on healing intestines, healing prostate, healing this, that, and the other thing. And I was able to do that because I totally understood how the protocols work, how to change your diet, and everything else you got to do to make not only this work, but have a lifestyle that lasts you for a long time. So who would like to go next?
Well, I will.
Thanks, Nancy.
About probably 3 years ago, heard it first from Charlie and Colleen, the Freak Hits, Charlie Freak. And then when Justin came along, it just became part of the conversation a lot. I resonated with it, although I resonated with the aspect of connected biblically, drink from your own cistern, because they're like, okay, yeah, that's got to mean that. It can't mean just random. But I was still indoctrinated. And then a year ago last fall, I started getting this swelling in my head, which was a precursor to the cancer diagnosis. But I had this kind of dreamlike state thing where I knew I was getting a healing. This was before the diagnosis. And that was the morning that I woke up and said, I'm gonna do it. Because they were saying, okay, the first morning be da, 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 da. So I did, and I remember just taking a quick sip and then just, that disgust, and I apologized to it. I said, I'm sorry, it's my indoctrination, because that's all it was my indoctrination to the idea of it. Yeah. But I went back and laid down, and I knew there was something connected in my body. I can't articulate what it was, but
Mhm.
I realized it resonated and connected. And then, so I've been intermittent of it. I heard you speak on Justin's channel and talked about, the full body, other body protocols.
Yep.
I got the nebulizer. I've been certainly doing that. And I've done a couple of enemas this week because I was at home. I spent some time with my daughter in Idaho, so it was off there. But when I got back home, I got back into it. And I even have some aging now to do, the hair and some of that other stuff. So I got the book and then I saw this class and thought, well, I wanted to see what the rest of it is and be ready because I think it'll come, just to other people. But my focus now is just on healing me. And I believe that it is a huge aspect of the tool that I am using. And I'm doing well. So my
Thank
lung
you.
reinflated, and I like to say it was one thing, but I think mainly it's the consciousness, and then these are tools. So I'm here to get my consciousness more wrapped around it. So
Good,
it's
good.
so
I'm glad you're here. And the further you go on this journey, or the deeper you go down the rabbit hole of research and experience, you'll be able to not only turn around conditions faster and faster, but you'll be eliminating supplements
oh yeah.
and all kinds of things that you thought you had to rely on to make your
Yeah.
hair, your skin, your face, your smells better, because the Orin has the ability to regenerate you.
Yeah, well, I'm not good on my diet, and thus it extends to my water. And so there are days when I'm like, okay, no way, and so it's a holistic aspect. You got to do it all, or it will,
Bite you. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
it's a
So
good
yeah,
word.
if you or anybody wants to do
Mm.
one-on-one consultations and coaching, I offer that to people all over the place. All right. Is someone else?
This is Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, everyone. I've been doing urine therapy. This month is my 2-year anniversary. And the one thing I noticed first, I started doing the eye cups, and within 6 months, I could see small print. I could never see small print. I was farsighted. So
Wow.
then I got my eyes examined this year, and it was reversed the whole degree. I guess that's what you call it. It went from 20/60 to 20/40.
Wow.
So my goal now is to get to 20/20 by the next eye exam. So I'm doing it with, for everything. I'm beginning to loop
Mhm.
more. So I'm just trying to get a total healing. I'm in very good health per se, but there are things I need to tweak and definitely want to reverse the aging process.
Okay. Well, this is quite possible. We can talk about that too. I'm going to send. We're making a note to send charts and a calendar to students. Medium size. Who wants to go next?
I guess it's me. Hi, everyone. I'm Theo
Tell us your name.
from the Netherlands.
Tell us your name.
Can you hear me good? Or
Yeah, let everyone know your name.
yeah, my name is Theo,
Dale. Okay.
and I'm from Amsterdam, from the Netherlands, from Europe, and yeah, I'm starting to drink. I'm practicing it for like 3 months now, so
Mhm.
I'm still new to all of this. Yeah, I had 2 years ago, I had a spiritual awakening. Um, and yeah, since then I'm in a flow, and I'll do new things now. I am also I'm work as a healer. I do what I do is atlas correction. So the atlas is the first vertebra in your spine, and I correct it by no by not by manipulation, but purely by energy.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, this is what I do. And yeah, I think 2 years ago, my life was completely different. I was actually very in the low frequency, if I can say it like that. I was
Mhm.
somewhere in another world, and yeah, I'm very grateful that I woke up and I turned 180 degrees. So yeah, I'm grateful to be here now and to learn more about all this. Very curious.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, Theo. Glad to have you in class. And like a lot of us here, you ain't seen nothing yet. So just stay with this practice. You're going to get more and more refined in your ability to use it and change your life. Carolyn, you want to check in?
Yeah, hey, I'm Carolyn, and I live on Orcas Island, which is some islands just north of Seattle. The San Juan Islands is a really awesome place. I learned of urine therapy from Dr. Group, and in the beginning of January, I took his course, and that's how I got to know Dr. Sage or Brother Sage, Dr. Sage, um, because he had an interview with Dr. Group. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I was information and things like that, and I started. I'm a newbie, I guess. January 13th was my first day. I've always believed in the body, and I always known that um, things that were told to us was a lie, because it's just lies. So I'm like, oh wait a minute, our body, this makes all sense. So I drink quite a bit. I pretty much loop until I eat at, like, I don't know, sometimes between noon and 2 or something. I don't know. And then I spray over my face and my body, and I do a massage, a sauna, and then I shower, and then I put it on my body. One thing I want to say that was really cool the other day is that my routine was kind of shifted, and I took a shower, and I was like, oh, my skin is so itchy. And I'm like, oh, I didn't put my golden elixir on it. So I put anyway, I rubbed my body with the urine, and it was amazing. It stopped having that itchy feeling. And so that's really great. So I've been really devoted since the 13th of January. And I mean, I feel great. I have a great lifestyle and diet. And so I really feel the power and connection. So I'm just really avid and learning more, and just learning and being and doing and shining and teaching other people as well. So spreading the light.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing that. We need more messengers on this planet. Oh, by the way, there's a gentleman I'm working with who does he does publishing, and he likes to do philanthropic work. What do you call it? Philanthropy work. And he called me yesterday, and he's interested in printing my books and giving out free books to people across the country. So there may be, and what our goal is to get them in the hands of those free libraries that you find around town on a post, those kiosks. All right. Those, and in the hands of naturopaths, chiropractors, and wellness practitioners, so they can start educating their clients. So I'll let you know when that becomes available. You may want to get a dozen in your hands and start giving them out to people. All right, who's left? Patricia? Do you want to weigh in? Oh, I had her muted. Okay, well, let's get started. We're going to go to page. You guys have the PDF or the book? This guy. This is the new cover. We changed covers because Amazon had a fit, but we still got a lovely picture of Shiva and Pavarti. All right, we're going to go to page 11. Page 11. The thing that makes this work better than anything else is your faith. Your belief in the water, your belief in the powers of your body, your faith in your creator to turn this into a health situation. In the old book, it was page 11. In the new book, I don't know where it is. Does it line up? I didn't look and see if the chapters line up. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. It's chapter 2, chapter 3.
What
Actually,
chapter?
page 31 in this book.
But what's the chapter?
Chapter is called How Faith Plays a Role in Urine Therapy.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm going to read some. If anybody else wants to take up the reading part at any time during class, I might ask for different volunteers. Here we go. Sri Santa Balji considered Orin therapy to be the boon of nature and a blessing by God for humanity. He describes human Orin as a divine and most powerful medicine. God has shown us this sure cure of all diseases. The truly wise person considers Orin as the best of all cures. Its prowess is indestructible. All of the many opinions about AUT, which is an acronym for auto urine therapy, that a lot of people in India use that acronym, are worth considering with an open mind. It can be seen in all religions, all cultures, ancient Indian sects, including the Jains and the Buddhists, who have considered the Orin cure to be a sure cure. Now, whether you know it or not, the origin of Ayurvedic medicine was based on urine therapy. And some of the Ayurvedic practitioners are aware of that. They don't necessarily teach it in their practice, but many of them are aware of that. That's how it all started. The researchers are slowly but unreservedly approving the sterling qualities of urine therapy. All their opinions and verdicts are eye-openers. Has it occurred to you that Shivambu is your water of personal aliveness? Without questions, concerns, or fears about getting better, you know that Shivambu is healing you, or may has already healed you now. Faith reminds us that you will never have to buy or use supplements or medications because it's all in the water. I do have a link from a Canadian university. If anybody wants it, just remind me. It lists all 5,661 ingredients located in human urine. So if anybody asks how many ingredients are in our water, 5,661. Now, don't you think that's like more than like 3 health food stores? So, yeah, we have that available. It wasn't until 1970 that there was a organization in this country called NASA. I don't know if you've ever heard of those critters, but of all organizations, they produced a document that stated we had 3,000 ingredients in human urine, but that was 1970. So a lot has changed over the years. We now discover there's a lot more. Everyone is ready for this leap of faith, which is to begin drinking pee. Instead of obsessing over taste and smell, Orin is a sample of what is flowing through your veins, and any repulsive reaction to Orin is a motivation to improve the internal conditions rather than an excuse for not doing Orin therapy. So basically, what you're drinking was just blood. It was human plasma before it got sent through the kidneys, and the kidneys filter it over 1 million times and produce this incredible medicine based on a blueprint that your body knows already what a perfect cell is. So there's built-in intelligence with your water. And when you get better at listening to and trusting your intuition, which is your guidance system, you'll start relying on this more and more for everything possible. It's just like your first aid kit. I keep little bottles like this everywhere with a spray top. It either has a spray top or you can get one with a pump. Right? So if you keep those in your bathroom, in the cabinet, underneath the cabinet, in your purse, in the backpack, in the car, if you're out and about somewhere and several things take place, you might get stung, you might get scratched, you might get a sunburn, you might get this, that, and the other thing. you can spray it on, rub it on, and get immediate relief and watch the pH flip into the alkaline side so the sting doesn't harm you. Carolyn.
Quick question. If so right now I have a little dog that she's having some sort of reaction, like hives kind of thing. Putting my urine on her, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to come up in class. This water works regardless of our considerations. It's one of the things on the wisdom chart. Because it's designed for any living being, it doesn't matter if you use a man's urine, a woman's, adult, a child, a sick person, a healthy person, a different race, or a different gender. I mean, a different species. Carolyn, we get reports and stories all the time from people who have helped their body recover from pain, discomfort, and healing challenges with their urine. Lovely story about a friend of mine out in Arkansas. She does urine baths all the time in her bathtub. She collects like 10, 20 gallons. So she's got plenty to bathe in. She would sometimes go to another part of the house, like the kitchen or something. And when she came back to the bathtub, her pit bull was splashing and playing in the urine, drinking the urine. And she noticed after a couple of days of the dog doing that its hip pain was gone. So what people do is they use their urine, they massage it on the pet's fur, they put it in their water. This one gal's dog, that's all he drinks. That's all the dog, pit bull's, it's a girl. All she drinks is urine. That's her water of choice. And some people, they put it in the dog's food. That help answer your question? So faith is one of the main components to make this work, because when you have faith, your confidence will be in your water, and you won't be wondering if this is working or not when you go through a cleansing and a detox, and you can reassure yourself everything's working just right, though my mind may not interpret it correctly. Now, Paula Ann, do you have a question? Or is that an old hands up thing? Lower the hand. Any questions so far?
Actually, yes, it was a question if I can ask.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm asking because I'm an energy worker, I'm a Reiki master, and I'm also in Dr. Group's class. And I have a friend who's been injured with the bioweapon, and she's very sick. So anyways, she became a friend. My sister referred her to me, and I've been doing energy work on her. Anyways, she's very she gets stroke-like symptoms. So she said she was willing to start with urine therapy. So she started very slow with just rubbing it on her skin first.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her that she can start with 1 drop underneath her tongue.
Okay.
I've been trying to get her there slowly because she had another spell on Wednesday where it was like stroke-like symptoms. She's numb in certain places. Anyway, long story short, would this be able to actually like bring her health back?
It definitely will, particularly if she starts increasing oral and topical use. When someone's in a condition where it's severe, I'd have them start doing what I've been teaching is saturation dosing, which is basically increasing the topicals as well as the oral. Because she's got to clean out the toxins, she's got to clean out deeper things that are stored in the cells, between the cells, inside the intestines, the liver. And she's got to look at her diet. And I mean, there's a whole, we're going to have this in one of the classes, is the 4 pillars of health that make this work.
Yes, I've already like explained to her certain things she needed to do. So as far as her diet, she's changed that, but she's accumulated over $25,000 in bills on her credit card to try to get some help. So like all these cleanses that she could do, a lot of things that she could do right now, she can't afford it. So that's why I said, well, urine therapy is free. It's there. That's what I suggest for you to do. Like with, she's still watching her diet. She's going to eat as clean as she can. And So that's, it's the only thing I can really suggest, like, is distilled water, clean water, and therapy, because right now she can't afford anything more.
Okay, well, it appears that way. With a little imagination, a little self-esteem, you can manifest everything. If does she have some gal pals that she can get support from?
No, she's not telling anybody about what she's doing. Not this part anyways, because a lot of people are not open to it. For me, it made so much sense when I heard about it. Perfect sense, but like not everybody's at that level yet.
Okay, well, the way to a really good way to get support is to join either Shivambu Hut or any of the social media platforms where people are communicating what's going on in their journey. You're able to talk about things you can't talk about with your family and friends. I mean, there's a safe place that you can talk about this.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll suggest that to her. Thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. Anybody else have a question?
Hey, I do. Just to piggyback on that, Brother Sage, you just did a podcast or something, or an interview with Dr. Group and these other 3 women. I don't know the names of them, but like a couple weeks ago, that these 3 women they were injured from the shot, and they started listening. I think they found it from Dr. Group. I don't know, but and they started drinking their own urine, and within like a half hour, this one lady's like, I felt so much better. And like these 3 ladies were like really injured, and they started drinking their urine, and they're like vibrant and way better than even before the nonsense started. So I'm going to say absolutely yes, because our body has the antidote and the medicine for whatever is going on. Our body knows how to heal. So maybe Brother Sage, you can put that link to that interview, because it was a really great interview. And you might find it helpful, and your friend might find it helpful as well. So.
Okay, here, Gloria, it's either Gloria for all or Gloria free for all. Anyway, she's got a Rumble channel. I'd have to look it up, but how do you spell her last name? Like that. Okay. If you can't find it, just reach out to me. So I keep going on this class. Did you want the link? Is that what you're asking for? If you can't find it, just reach out to me. I'll get it for you. So you can see that some people recover and regenerate faster than other people. There's no timeline when it comes to using this water when someone's going to actually reverse a condition. Some call it being healed. All right. So when you get that question from people and they say, well, I've got such and such a health challenge, and if I start doing urotherapy, when will I get healed? How long will that take? Well, you're not in charge of the body's timeline. And depending on what they do with the rest of their wellness practice is going to determine if that's going to speed up or it's going to take a while. That make sense, guys? All right, let's go over the Shivambu wisdoms. That way you guys will know what the heck we're talking about. Teo, did you get that chart? You're breaking up. There we go.
I didn't get the chart, I think.
Okay, I'll have to resend it to you. I'm going to send it to everybody. So number 1 on the chart, it's the Shivambu Wisdom chart. And it is the PowerPoints are what makes this work. So you can learn these points, not only for your own reference, but when people ask you so many questions, they ask me thousands of questions, I have to remind them, you've got the answer in the water. You've got the answer in your intuition. So the very first wisdom on the chart is, it's an intuitive elixir, remedy, panacea, medicine, whatever word you want to use. It'll guide you when, how much, how often, when to fast, what protocols. et cetera, et cetera. Any questions? Number 2, it doesn't come with dogma, rules, or any limitations at all. It's so simple that anybody can do this. And the challenge people have is they approach their health from a medical approach and not a natural approach. And when you approach your health as a natural approach, a natural way, it's simple. You don't have to think about regimes or protocols that the doctor recommend. Number 3, it works regardless of your considerations. And I've mentioned this before. It doesn't matter if you use a man's, a woman's, an adult's, a child's urine, whether the person's healthy or sick. The reason I say that, because I've had the experience and Doc Mike has had the experience. He's actually drank about 40, 50 of his clients' urine just to show them that nothing that's in your urine is going to help hurt another person. And he had clients with cancer, diabetes, all kinds of different illnesses, and didn't faze him one bit. All right. So it's the same with the animals. You can give your pets, your favorite loved ones, your precious ones, your urine. For the people who think they're going to follow their dog around and get behind him when he pees, good luck. You don't have to be, an advanced yogi to do this. Okay. It's an evolving urine. I changed the wording. A lot of people will get in a hang up with the word aged urine or aging. So I came up with the term evolving, because the moment you collect it, what is it doing? It's maturing, it's evolving, it's becoming more potent. And so it's an evolutionary water. It's a metaphor for who we are, because we evolve all the time. So if you hear that in the community, you'll know what they're talking about. Next one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I had one question. I was also hearing a podcast, but in another show, and he said also like that the testing of aged or evolved urine, and that that it was producing its own stem cells, that it got more stem cells. Yeah, I was wondering if you know more about it, about about it. How
Yeah,
does it work?
the evolving urine amplifies and enhances the fresh. There's some kind of intelligence that comes with this water. It's in a category all unto itself. So it has enough intelligence to increase its potency, to add more stem cells, antibodies, you name it. I'm currently working on a project with Dr. Group, Jonathan Otto and Megan McDonald of Canada, to work with the university so we can show that there's more stem cells in the evolving urine and that it has potential for human health. And right now there is documents going around that shows there is stem cells in urine, but it doesn't say if it's fresh or aged.
Okay, but in fresh is also there are also stem cells.
Mhm.
And well, what's because I heard people talking, uh, H is better for topical use, and fresh is better to drink. Is that is there some logic to it, or?
Well, it's each person's interpretation and their own guidance and how that operates, because we don't have any measurement on, more for topical, more for oral. You drink what you got, use what you got. If you got evolving, my God, use that. That'll have an increase in it. Just be aware that if you put the evolving in your nose or in your eyes, there might be a 3-second sting. There might be that kind of reaction to it, but that falls away rather shortly. So whether you use evolving or fresh is totally optional. If you don't have evolving, but all you have is fresh from the night before, use it for everything. Some people like to blend the two together because they think that seems to help better. Does that make sense? It's intuitive. Okay, the other thing on the list is saturation dosing. I kind of explained that earlier. Do you have a question on why and what that means? You see, most people just drink the urine and figure that's all they got to change. I'm drinking my pee. How come I'm not getting better? Well, are you doing any topical protocols? Are you changing your diet? Are you exercising? Are you getting enemas? I mean, there's a whole program. We'll talk about that when we get to the holistic health part of the class. So not just drinking is a great start, but when you start applying it on your skin and your belly button, your eyes and your nose and your ears and backside and your feet and all this other areas, it gets more absorbed into those areas that need it: liver, lungs, lymphatics, intestines, and so forth. All right, you instead of incrementally improving your life and your health, wouldn't you like to speed that up? So that requires you to be more mindful and diligent about using your water everywhere, anywhere. Some of us, we keep a pee bottle in our car when you're somewhere out in the public, but you can't hold it until you get indoors. Well, you got a collection place to collect it. All right. What else is on that list? Shivambu is a category all unto itself. I mean, we're trying to explain something that's bigger than us, and the closest people can get to it is it's your essence. You're drinking what brought you here from your mom's belly and her womb. And now here we have the body designing what's best for you from everything it's read through the plasma. What it does is it does a read on it. It diagnoses the plasma as it's about to get filtered into the kidneys through a system of chambers called the nephron. And so before it goes to that filtration, it can read whether something needs to be corrected, added, if there's a threat or contamination, an antibody, and then it prepares it for you. This is what I like to call the best of you. And what happens when you return it to your body? You become the best of you. How's that for metaphor? So just make a close personal connection with your water, and you'll be fine for a very, very long time. And when you get your wellness practice dialed in, you're going to stop doing the things that didn't give you better results in your health. Okay, any questions on that? Oh, the last thing on the list is there are no such thing as an incurable. So I'm just going to ask you, can this be cured? Can that be cured? The only thing you cannot cure, guys, is what you believe you cannot cure. It's the same thing as true for your life. The only thing you can't achieve is what you believe you cannot achieve. All right, we're going to go to page 198. Well, it may not be the same in your book, but it's a chapter on intuitive water. Let's see where it is. It's page 198. It's actually in chapter 15, presenting your service professionally. Let me just read this really quick. Once you choose this lifestyle, or it chooses you, you absolutely know what UT is doing for you. You will never quit the practice or look for something better. After gaining enough experience practicing AUT and are sure that you are ready, students and clients will seek you out. How well do you practice using your intuition? According to the Webster's Dictionary, quote, intuition is an ability to understand or understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. It is the power or faculty of attaining direct knowledge or cognition without evident rational thought and inference. Do you feel confident with your intuitive abilities? Intuition is a tool. It's only as good as the person who uses it. So start today, right where you are, and practice being more mindful of using intuition. Mastering the use of intuition along with mastering conscious breathing is not only pivotal to your well-being and your clients, but also to everyone you know and will cross paths during your life. Breathe. Know that your intuition, instantly giving you quick and ready insight, is always at your service to guide and keep the session on course. Assist in making good choices and giving advice, suggesting lifestyle changes, and co-creating the best sessions with every client. Remember, you are an instrument, a bridge or guide for your client to do his or her own work with your assistance and cooperation. Your work is not to save, protect, improve, or change anyone, especially clients. Your work is to do your work. You guys may want to see how that applies to your life. Your work is not to do other people's work. Whether it's somebody you know, or it could be an ex, it could be anybody. Everyone has to do their own work for themselves. Otherwise, you're going to get sucked into that. The sooner a client can throw away their psychological or mental crutches, concerns, doubts, and fears, and take responsibility for their self-health care, the faster they will heal and grow. All right, any questions about intuition? Right on, right on. Page 32. Let's see what's on page 32. Clinical research and studies. I'm going to read a couple of pages of this. Do you see it there? All human beings have drank their own urine while growing a body in the womb of their mother. And that's a fun statement to tell people if they're holding back. You know that you drank your urine? You've already done this before. You may not remember, but you're in your mom's water belly. And that stuff that they call amniotic fluid was a combination of piss and mom's water. So that's what you were doing the whole time. In the natural biological heaven of the human reproductive process inside the maternal womb is where the formation of our body took place. The first step was the formation of mother cells, heart, brain, kidneys, bones, basic organs, nerve cells that receive and transmit, and above all, the coordination between sensorial organs and the incredible balance of genetic information, cell reproduction, and the bioenergetic stimulant. Inside the maternal womb, we are in complete peace, comfort, harmony, preparing ourselves to come out to a new life in the external world. A human's perfect time on earth may be during the gestation period. Urotherapy is literally a gift from God or Shiva, built-in part of our nature. No human on earth has not taken in his or her own urine. They won't be teaching that in church. They won't be teaching that on television either. There's no human on earth who has not taken his own urine. In our first 24 to 30 days, we will start peeing in the amniotic liquid. Through the umbilical cord, the baby receives special nutrients such as immunoglobulin, vitamins, and most importantly, oxygen from the mother. When the baby reaches the age of 5 months, they urinate 400 to 500 milliliters each day inside the amniotic sac, and between 8 to 9 months, the baby urinates 20 to 30 times every 24 hours. So if you get this image, and you can see these on YouTube, somebody's done sonogram pictures of babies inside the womb urinating. You can see the fluid coming out of the little boy. Well, you're drinking, you're massaging, you're snorting. I mean, every possible way you can get in and out of your body is happening. And so this explains why babies are born beautiful. They're soft, they're fine, they're beautiful. And they would remain that way if we didn't put them in the hands of the medical system. So hopefully people are doing more home birthings and water birthings and staying away from those other characters. So that's the part about the baby being born. Any question? Let's find out how this all got started. How this all got started. Have you heard already about, Patricia, did you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know if can I have my pee to the baby
Mhm. Yes,
or
go
the
ahead.
baby. I want to know if can I have my pee to
Yeah,
my baby?
yeah, most definitely.
or the baby? Can I drink for the baby if I don't have enough? I don't know. Mix it baby and me or me and baby, but I don't know if it's possible.
It's totally possible. I would start off with smaller quantities till the baby gets accustomed to it. And can you give your baby massages with the Orin?
Yes.
Okay, so you can do some of the protocols with your baby, rubbing their feet with it and putting it in their belly button. Um, put a little cotton ball of it under their nose, see if they'll get to sniff it. I mean, you can wipe it over their eyelids, and there's a lot you can do. To answer your
Okay.
question.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So 39 in 11:30. And we're going to take a break in about half an hour. Is that going to work for you guys?
Yes. Brother Sage, can I make a comment about the baby?
Yeah, please.
Well, well, I guess it's the same that we are doing, but I remember when I was younger, we would take the baby's diaper and rub the baby's face with the diaper.
Yeah.
So that way they got their own urine on their face.
All right. Patricia, it's a great suggestion. I hope you heard that. This is something that mothers have passed down for generations. They've done the baby diaper urine therapy technique. So thank you for bringing that up, Betty. So anybody heard of the Damar Tantra? All right, the cover of the book shows Shiva and Parvati. Shiva is considered the Lord of the universe by the Hindus, and his partner was Parvati. And one day she outs her husband and says, Shiva, how come you don't age? How come you're still healthy and strong and sexy and doing everything you do? And so what he turns to his wife and says, drink of yourself and you will know. And so he lays out this 9-year program called the Damar Tantra. Some call it the Shiva Kalpa. And in there, he explains what vessels to use to collect the urine: copper, brass, gold, plantain leaves. I don't think they had glass back then, but he lays it all out, even a coconut. You can use a coconut shell, whatever it takes to collect it, right? So over this 9-year program that he's teaching Bhavarti, he teaches you not only how to heal everything, but at the end of it, achieve physical immortality. So this all started 5,000 years ago, but all over the many, many, many centuries and millenniums since then, I'm going to highlight some of the things that were published that became public record. But keep in mind, one of the reasons that this movement is so powerful and growing so quickly, even though the powers to be tried to stop this back in the 1917s, is because a lot of this has been practiced from culture to culture, tradition to tradition by word of mouth. So a lot of it wasn't written down until the turn of the 1900s. There is now urine comes by different names. Urine has different names in different countries. In Spanish speaking countries, they call it orina, O-R-I-N-A, orina, or urina. In India, there's a gentleman who's been practicing urine therapy for 55 years, Dr. Lota. He likes to refer to it as Lota Cola. I give him the acknowledgement for that one. In Botswana, they call it U juice. And what that means, I finally got her answer. She says, that means it's your juice. It's you juice. It's you juice. In Hawaiian, the word is mimi. I didn't learn that till I moved here. M-I-M-I is the Hawaiian word for urine. And Nigeria, they call it ito, I-T-O. Here in the States, I call it orange juice. It's my OJ of choice. Now, the word Shivambu the original traditional Hindu spelling, or in Sanskrit, is A-M-B-H-U at the end of it. So it's Shiva, S-H-I-V-A-M-B-H-U. What that literally means is either water of Shiva or blood of the Lord. Now, the word Oren, you might have heard me say it several times. According to Andrew Norton Weber, and I highly recommend you look for his YouTube channel, he was bringing out a lot about urine therapy and distilled waters back in the 1910 to 1920, 2010 to 2012. And so he was teaching that the only forms of distilled water, which is glacial water, distilled water, urine, and fruit juice. But one of the things he did was he told us where the word urine came from was the guys who started the healthcare system in 1917, and they wanted to demonize this practice. I won't say the name of them because I don't know where this recording is going to go, but you know who I'm talking about. The something fellers. And so he says, Orin is soft, Orin is gentle, Orin is inviting. Urine sounds disgusting. So he changed the name to Orin. Well, in one of his writings, he said, if you look at, you know who Aquaman is? The superhero called Aquaman. He was the god of the sea. Him and Neptune, they took care of the ocean. Well, if you go to Wikipedia and you Google the word, you look up Aquaman in Wikipedia and you read further down into the paragraphs, you'll discover that Aquaman's real name was Orin. So a lot of people in the community like to call it Orin instead of call it urine. In the 1400s, the Aztecs want to go through some more genealogy, some more timeline, so get you a little caught up in history here. And then in the 1400s, the Aztecs were known to use it for healing their wounds, healing their diseases. In the 1500s, Magellan circumnavigated the ocean with his crew, and he told them that seawater is not healthy, and he told them to drink their urine. That was in the 1500s. In 1536, there was an Egyptian medical text with over 50 formulas and remedies that included Orin. In 1611, here comes the King James Bible. And I think Nancy, wherever she is, somebody mentioned that, yes, drink of your own cistern and out will flow, a river of life, a water of life. So there's a lot of references in the Bible, and it's amazing how many people in the Orin community pick up on that. And you say this to certain Bible readers or Christians, they don't get it. Oh no, that's just a metaphor. That's not, you can't take that literally. I go, really? It sounds like pee to me. So those that want to cite Bible to people to introduce it to, there's a lot of quotes and we can get them for you. In 1695, there was a reference in the Solomon's English physician book that talks about urine therapy. In 1806, Lewis and Clark described Native Americans bathing in their Orin. And there's pictures of that, and they made statues of it and all this other stuff. In 1890, there was a book called 1,000 Notable Things that said Orin is a universal and excellent remedy for a multitude of health challenges. In the 1930s, there was a professor of France who wrote about the adrenal and sex gland hormones present in Orin. They dug at least that deep. In 1944, Water of Life. You heard that book? John W. Armstrong. He actually wrote it in 1920. It got published in 1944. And this became one of the most important books on the subject at the time, because he talked about healing people of blindness, healing people of all kinds of conditions, having them fast until their illness reversed. And it was back in then, his book is when we first started hearing about the determining factor of what's considered aged or evolving Orin. There's people going to ask that question. Well, how do you know when it's evolved? How can you call it evolving Orin? Does it have to be so many days, weeks, months, and so forth? Well, John Armstrong came up with the time frame of 4 days. And yet I talked to Dr. Rosalind Hansen at the Water of Life Convention in Vegas in 2018, and she thinks it should be 9 months because she associated with the gestation period. So you're going to get various different determinations from people, what is considered the measurement of what's evolved urine. And I like to remind you guys at the moment you collect it, it's evolving. So whether you store it for 4 days or 4 years, that's totally optional. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because people are going to ask you, well, how do I know when it's evolved enough? Well, it never stops, but you can use it anytime. In 1971, 1963, there was a Manav Mudra that came out into the world. It was a beautiful book, came out of India called the Manav Mudra. If you ever want to go and find that book, they still have it. We might have access to it in PDF file. How do you spell it? Manav Mudra, Mootra. The Manav Mudra. 1971, NASA puts out this document that tells you we have 3,000 ingredients in our urine. And in 1971, John W. Armstrong decides to reprint his book. So nothing was out on the market in the United States or in most countries until the 1990s, when here comes The Golden Fountain by Cohen Vanderkroon in 1994. Your Body's Perfect Medicine, Martha Christie, comes out within that time frame, 1994, 1995, 1996. Urine Therapy by Beatrice Barnett. That came out not too long after that. And also Urotherapy by Martin Laura. This came out in 1996. He's about to reproduce it. It's been a while. So, and then my book started coming out in 2018 to 2023. And Harry Matadine put out 3 books on aged urine out there in England. So if you want to ever read some books on the subject, you can find his books over at the Shiva Lifestyle Store. Any questions about the history? How we got here? No, good. You guys are easy. All right. How does it affect the color, the coordination? Page 24. Is that what we're looking for? Well, I'll just fake it. People ask, why does it look the way it looks? And why does it smell the way it smells? And why does it taste the way it tastes? Based on what you ate the day before is going to determine if it's over salty, if it's over bitter, whatever it is, because that's what ends up going through the plasma. And then when it gets filtered through, it shows up in your urine. So you can use your urine like a way to test what needs to be changed in your diet. Like if you eat all fruit, like for a day, you're going to have the best tasting urine, and it's going to taste like coconut water and a sweet little nectar. And when you can get it where it's dialed in just right, this is from this morning, you'll look forward to it. Because it won't have anything that... That's another thing I recommend you guys do, is get used to your own fragrance. It's like your own pheromones. You go, oh, that's me, that's Nancy. Oh yeah, that's Carolyn. Oh yeah, I know, that's Theo. And maybe that's the reason why animals sniff each other. They want to test out all kinds of things. They're not just looking for partnership. Oh yeah, you seem to have an issue with your liver. What's going on? I don't know if dogs communicate like people do. So what you're drinking, what you're eating has a big impact on that. Any questions?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I was about the pH. Someone told me, yeah, you can measure your pH of your urine, and then if it's too low, it means that you are not healthy. if it's above 7 or something, then you're okay.
You're talking about
Yeah,
when it's on the acid side, when it's a lower number?
yeah, exactly.
Well, it's an indication that you're eating acid-forming foods.
Okay.
Now, I'm not telling, I don't necessarily teach people what to eat unless they ask me, because I know a lot of people, they eat out of tradition or comfort or emotions. So to tell someone to stop eating meat or get rid of dairy or get rid of your gluten-filled carbohydrates might be met with resistance from people. But those are all acid forming, mucus forming, inflammatory causing. And so a simple rule of thumb that I follow, and you guys may want to try it out, is eat food that has the following characteristics, and it'll move you to live plant foods every time. It has to have minerals, chlorophyll, it has water, enzymes, life force. Outside of the plant kingdom, you won't find it. But if you move over to fruits, vegetables, sprouts, fresh green drinks, superfoods, you have a much better chance of having a vibrant body and a healthy body. And I've been working on that for my whole adult life, is be able to dial that in. I was in a raw food community in Austin, Texas in 1977 for 2.5 years. And that anchored me into this lifestyle. So when you get off center and you start eating like everybody else because you want to fit in, you want to be loved, blah, 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 and it's a psychological approach to food, you've got to pull yourself back and get your center again. Wow, the screen's just moved around. Any questions?
Can you repeat the 5 things of healthy eating? I didn't get all of them.
Okay, number 1. Why does it put my thumb up when I do that? You see that?
Yes, yes, I see it pop up every time.
All right, number 1, enzymes,
Oh, enzymes, okay.
minerals, chlorophyll, synthesizes the colors and the life from the sun. Chlorophyll, minerals, water, life force.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And the only other thing you got to remember, like when you're doing raw foods, and we made the mistake when I was in a raw food community, was, hippies back in the day, they think if it's raw foods, it doesn't matter what you combine together and how much you eat. And so it's very important, and I highly recommend you guys go look for 2 items you'll find on Google on the internet. One is food combining chart.
Yes.
Look at a food combining chart. It tells you what enzymes go with what, and not to mix protein, starch, and fruit and all these other stuff. And the other thing to look up is the chemistry and composition of food.
Like the acid alkaline chart, is that what you're talking about?
It might be called that, but I know it as the chemistry and composition of foods.
Okay.
And it'll tell you that, fats don't go with fruit and starch don't go with fruit and this, that, and the other thing. So that explains when people overeat or they put too many different items in their food, why they have gas and bloating and acidosis, because either they're combining wrong combinations of food, they're eating too much, they're not chewing thoroughly, they're eating too late at night. There's a lot of things that can affect your ability to absorb and use the best out of your food. So the closer you get to raw foods and living foods, you have a much better chance of getting your body working better.
There was a book that I got maybe 30, 40 years ago, Food Combining Made Easy.
By Sheldon?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, well, he figured it out back in the days.
Yes.
Right on, guys.
Yeah, if I can ask for a suggestion of a
Yeah.
book like to begin with for a beginner to eat more healthy, well, what book would you recommend
For what subject?
about nutrition? So what to eat?
Oh, let's see. Here's the book that was my Bible. I'm still in touch with this guy.
Oh, at Victorious Coven, I heard of him too.
Yes, he's 85 years old. He's still doing yoga. He has a retreat center in Costa Rica, and I've spoke to him in the last couple of days. He just had his 85th birthday celebration.
Wow. I think he used to be connected to David Wolf way back when. That's
They might have been connected, but he's most known about being connected to Dr. Ann Wigmore.
oh, okay.
She started wheatgrass movement, and Victoria started a sprouting movement.
Okay. Was he is he the bodybuilder too, or that's someone else, the vegan bodybuilder?
That's somebody else.
Okay.
Patricia, Paula, Ann, do you have a question?
Yes, please. I would like to know what your suggestion would be. Where I live at, we don't have a lot of organic foods. We plant our own garden in the summer, but we never harvest enough for the winter. So, is it best not to just eat any of those vegetables? Like I grow my own sprouts. I do that like every week. I like in jars. So I know I get nutrition there, but when I go to the grocery store and it's not organic, I don't feel like eating it. I feel like I'm eating like garbage, basically.
Yeah. So are you able to grow your own other than sprouts? Able to grow anything else like in a garden, indoors or outdoors?
Well, it's winter here, so like we have a very short season in the summer. So we do plant. Last a couple of years, we didn't get that much because with the chemtrails, it kind of affects the soil and everything. So it makes it difficult. We try to buy organic when we can. In the summer, with the farmers markets, we can get some from farmers that they say that's organic. Not always sure if it is, but I'm just wondering, like, I mean, I'm feeling like anything that's not organic or even something that's genetically modified, like the GMOs, they're so detrimental to the gut. So I choose not to buy it and eat it. I just like try to do it with my sprouts and I'll get whatever's organic. Sometimes, well, they have organic carrots, and sometimes I'll have organic broccoli. That's very seldom. They have organic mushrooms and bananas. That's about it.
Okay. Is there any way to can them or store them for wintertime use? Or juice them and freeze them and different things you can do with them?
Well, there could be, if I had enough, if I could harvest enough from the garden, that would be perfect, you know. But so far, it hasn't been. The last couple of years, we haven't harvested much from our garden. So I guess we'd have to buy in the summer and then freeze it or can them.
What about neighbors? Are neighbors doing any growing where you guys can help each other out?
No, around here, there's not a lot of people who do that, unfortunately.
Right. So you got to get really creative. Sometimes you can some people will add dehydrated foods. They may have to buy them online. Or I mean, you just got to get creative, because unless you're willing to like double, triple bless the commercial stuff, which some people do because, they feel, kind of their hands are tied, then you got to figure a way to eat around whatever the situation is.
Yes, well, I've done that. I've cleared food before of any ill effects. But the thing is, in Canada, I'm in Canada, so a lot of the stuff that we'd like to get, like especially like Dr. Groups, he's got like a bunch of great stuff we could order, the supplements and like even the dried greens. They won't allow him to ship that to Canada, so our hands are kind of tied.
Okay. Have you looked for any other suppliers or people
I've
who have?
I've looked a bit. It's just it's to find a good source. You know what I'm saying? Like to find where they source their stuff and to make sure that it's not X-rayed, where they remove all the good stuff in it. Like there's so many things that you have to look at, and some companies just never return the emails back, or they don't answer the questions, so you're still there waiting. So I do a
Right.
lot of searching, so I'm going to continue searching.
Okay. Do you have contacts across Canada that you can run that by?
Not really, no.
Okay. If you'll go to brothersage.com and find the Water Family Directory, we've got Megan McDonald and Darlene Thean are in the urine therapy, and they're naturopaths up in Canada. They
Okay.
may know some connections for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Patricia, you have a question?
Yes,
Yeah.
I want to know if I went to the party, I drink alcohol, I need to collect the urine and drink the morning time.
Yeah. What's your question?
I asking to
Oh,
know if I went to the party, because sometimes you need to drink something alcohol.
yeah.
I need to collect my urine morning time and I drink it, or I need to wait the date, then I'm gonna drink tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, you can drink the morning's collection or anytime during the day, because it's going to help bring the antidote or the remedy for whatever you ate or drank the night before.
Oh, thank you. I don't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, the Damar Tantra has confused people, because I don't know if anybody's ever brought up the subject of midstream, drinking the midstream. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we go back 5,000 years to the Damar Tantra, there's a verse that says urine, or the flow, is symbolic of a snake, and the head and the tail of a snake could harm you. Right? So if you just left it at that, you'd go, oh, well, that makes sense. But the next verse explains that it's based on tradition and superstition. Fast forward to 2024, we know that every drop is sterile and precious. So the midstream idea is just a theory that doesn't apply anymore.
Okay, good to know.
Does that make sense? You don't have to go, oh, let's put this aside. No, let's collect it over here.
I was doing that, by the way, only catching the midstream. So thank you for telling me. But if it makes sense that, let's say if you have an infection in your somewhere in your urinary system, tract system, yeah, how does it work then? Because then if you have an infection, you can pee it out, right? And you will drink the infected place, or how can I see it like that? You know what I mean?
Okay, is there any way to turn up your volume as it goes down and goes up?
Okay, let me see.
Does the volume go through your speaker or through your headset?
Is it better now?
A little bit, kind of sounds the same, but people with infections and people with illnesses who drink their urine have reported healing themselves. Worked with a gentleman in Africa who had gonorrhea, and after 4 days of, he already got inspected and found out that was in his urine. After 4 days of drinking and applying his urine, it was all healed.
Okay.
And we have reports of that all over the place, from people who had multiple sclerosis to Alzheimer's. I've been working with a 19-year-old man who was recovering from autism, which we know a lot of autism is a result of the pokey pokey. And after working with his assistant or his caregiver, after about 2 weeks, when I would call to check in, he would go, "Oh, it's Brother Sage on the phone." And he was never able to actually express himself, and he stopped doing the behavior of an autistic person. And so it's got great promise for any mental or emotional disorders.
That's really good to hear. my son has autism, and when we did his energetic atlas correction, now he's changed completely. It's crazy. Like he still has it, but less, much milder form than before. So yeah. So I
So he,
know it's all about the body can self heal, and this is what it is. And by fixing the atlas, your body works even better by
yes.
the self healing abilities. So yeah.
So is he using his own urine or yours?
No, no, no. I correct his atlas, and because of this,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
all
because of
right.
that, it helped him a lot. So yeah,
How old is he?
he's 17.
17. Does he know about your practice?
Not yet. This I didn't tell him yet. So step
Okay,
by
well,
step.
don't wait too long.
Yeah,
And I say the same to anybody on this screen. Anybody who's holding back, resisting telling a loved one who's really sick, hurt, or in a hard place, the sooner you get over any considerations or funny stuff in your brain, the better. Even if you,
Okay.
yeah,
Speaking of that real quickly,
yes.
the Ocean Robbins is the founder of the Food Revolution Network, and he had polio as a child, and now in his later years, it's recurred. And I so had this desire, like, do urine therapy, but I don't know how to. But as you're talking, I'm like, okay, somehow, but I just send an email to him and just he
You-
looked into it. I mean, because I just knew.
Are you able to call him?
No, I mean, no, because I just watched a video, that's it. I get some emails, but they don't go back. I don't know how. I guess you'd have to just put it in the, general contact us kind of
Yeah.
thing, which I
However,
could do.
however you can send it to him, you'd have to say in a way that it would make sense to him and his understanding of health and biology. You could either share a testimonial, you could give a general statement, or you can send him a book.
Like this. No, well, I need an address, but well, I don't know. The PDF copy that you sent us, could I send that?
You can send that.
All
You
right.
can buy a copy on Amazon. In either case, yeah, that's a great way to introduce it to him.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. All right, guys. We're going to take a little 8-minute break and then come back in about 5 to 8 minutes after the hour. This is a good stopping spot for people.
The coffee and the urine enemas this
Mhm.
week, which I loved. I mean, honestly, they were better. I could hold more in, and I just felt like it got a lot out.
Yeah.
So, and maybe I'm not drinking enough water, I'm not hydrated enough. That's always the case. Is that a concern? I just figure the body will figure this out and deal with it if I keep the protocols. Okay.
Not a concern. You just keep reusing it and recycling it. Some people ask, well, how come there is sediment in the water? So if you're going to ask how come there isn't any, I would say you're at a good cycle with your urine and just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, so that what we were taught that may not be true.
Mhm.
Then
That's
that's an indication of filtering or not filtering.
right. I say question everything. Not everybody has water that looks super uber clean. Some have the white sediment on the bottom down in here, and that's stem cells and white blood cells and concentrated nutrients.
Yeah.
And people go, it kind of looks like a starter mushroom for kombucha. I said, no, no. This is something that was filtered from the plasma.
Well, I used to have that. So
Yeah, but
now I do not. Okay. Well, I've been clearing stuff out of there. Okay,
yeah,
question. To get it through the kidneys, you'd have to ingest it, right? It's not going to be the topical.
it's however it gets into your bloodstream.
Oh, so
Topical gets in your bloodstream, foot soaks gets in your bloodstream,
oh,
and
good. Oh, that's my out. I keep eating cheese.
yeah,
I'm kidding.
for all you cheese lovers, you have to really weigh that one out.
Yeah. Oops. Wrong thing.
She disappeared. All right, is everybody back? We got an hour and a half left of today's class, and we're going to go to the chapter 4. What's the secret sauce? What's in our water that makes it work? And this is important to learn some of these nutritional powerhouses, but not all of them, because like I said at the beginning, there's 5,661 ingredients, and most of them I can't even pronounce, much less write them down. So what I did was I took a partial list of those and put them in this chapter so that people see the most commonly discussed or known ingredients that you think about or that you would ever want to have in your body. So this is chapter 4 called Oren's Everybody's Perfect Elixir and How Does It Work? In 1975, one of the founders of Miles Laboratories, Dr. A.H. Free, published the book Urinalysis and Clinical Laboratory Practice, in which he remarked that not only is Oren a sterile and body compound, purer than distilled water, but it is now recognized that Oren contains thousands of compounds. Now, I don't know if you ever saw the Fight Club with Brad Pitt. There's a clip that's going around YouTube. They caught him on that movie saying, urine, it's sterile. You could drink it. We got clips of all these celebrities either drinking it, putting it on their foot fungus, bathing in it. So a lot of celebrities kind of hinted that this is a potential modality for them. So on page 100 and page 116, oh, it's a superhero. I like his outfit. All right, so if you look at this list, it's 16 in the old book. I don't know what it is in the new version. The chapter 4, did you find it?
Yeah, 16.
All right, did you find it?
Yeah,
Nancy?
it's page 36 in the new book.
36 in the new book. Would you
No,
be
35.
35? Would you
It
be so
starts
kind
35.
to read that list that starts with adrenaline so we can actually hear some of the things in our Oren?
Adrenaline, alanine, albumin,
Amino acid.
allantonin, antibodies, amino acids, arginine,
Yep.
ascorbic acid, bicarbonate, biotin, calcium, carbohydrates, chloride, chlorine, cortisone, creatine, cysteine, DHEA, dopamine, enzymes, epinephrine, estrogen, folic acid, glucose, glutamic acid, glycine, hormones, inositol, some of these I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
Insulin, iodine, iron, leucine, lysine, magnesium, manganese, melatonin, methionine, methionine, thank you. Nitrogen, ornithine, oxytocin,
Mhm.
pantothenic acid, phenylalanine, phosphorus, potassium, progesterone, proteins, riboflavin, selenium, serotonin, stem cells, sulfur, testosterone, thiamine, tryptophan, triosine, urea, vasopressin,
Mhm.
vitamins A, B6, B12, C, D, E, K, and zinc.
All right. So it's amazing how many people used to and may still head out to the health food store to buy all these isolated
Yeah.
ingredients. Now,
Well, they banned some of those.
They did. And there's a lot more that aren't listed here. So if you can remember some of these nutritional ingredients, it helps you when someone comes to you and says, for example, what can urine do for anxiety, nervousness, emotional imbalance, all these inability to sleep. And you remember, well, there's melatonin, there's serotonin, there's oxytocin, there's DHEA, there's magnesium, there's B vitamins. These are the things people buy at the health food store, and it's in your water. So you may start noticing that throughout the day when you're drinking more and more, that you stay calmer more often, that you're not triggered as easily as you used to be by the things people say, or you find yourself in a situation in your life where you normally react and go, oh, I'll get through this. So getting to know the ingredients in your water gives you at least a nutritional blessings, a nutritional understanding of why it works. In addition to the above substances, urine is a biofeedback machine. It contains broken down products of the metabolism of each of 1 trillion cells. These particles carry up-to-date information on the exact status of the health of each individual cell at any given moment in time. It also contains other products manufactured by the body to counteract an illness, and that's called an antibody. Urine is a perfect telltale and excellent diagnostic agent. For example, vitamin A isn't normally excreted in the urine, but in patients with cancer and TB, large quantities of vitamin A had been detected. Now, how do you explain that to people? When you get an illness, your body gives you the remedy. They won't teach you that in school.
But that's the same with pregnant women, right? Their pee. They even make a medicine of it. Pregny, it's called.
Yep.
Because it has a lot of female estrogen. So also.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, some people go to the extent of telling you that anything that comes through the valley of the body, AKA the reproductive organs, anything that comes out of you is sacred fluid that can be used to restore your health, whether it's urine, whether it's semen, whether it's menstrual blood, whatever it is. There are a lot of people who embraced all fluids that come out of these areas of the body as therapeutic. And you find this in all kinds of cultures. People take in these fluids. The composition of urine changes from season to season and, in fact, moment to moment. Lack of sleep, poor food choices, and unhealthy eating habits, grief, and happy moments can influence the composition of your urine. If we had sophisticated instruments to detect each and every particle present in urine, we would get a perfect scan of the functioning of all cells present in the body, which are particular to a specific moment, and know the complex role performed by the body to restore health. The functions of the main substances of urine are below. So I'm not going to read all this, but you can see some of the things that it talks about. Growth hormone, anti-mucus, protein metabolism. By the way, all the people that are following Dr. Group and Dr. Artis, and they're doing nicotine gum and nicotine patches, and they're trying to get the nicotinic acid back into their bloodstream, it's in the urine. Did you know that? A lot of things people selling as nutritional miracle pills and miracle potions, it's in your urine.
See, and nicotine was one of the things I was trying to get out of my system. Why
Yeah.
would they want it in?
Well, they say it helps the spike protein,
That's
the so-called thing that sheds.
Oh,
And I learned that certain foods have nicotine in it. And as you mentioned with Dr. Group, they say it's not the nicotine in the cigarette that's the problem. It's the
No.
other chemicals that are the problem. The nicotine is a plant, grows from tobacco. So they said eggplant has nicotine and a few other vegetables contains nicotine naturally. So, and the lobelia plant, so that's where this is coming from.
Oh, now see, that is new because I've got books that say how nicotine is the most addictive substance known to man. So, I mean, you can't trust anything but your own
Yeah.
body.
But
So,
they say it's not the nicotine that's addictive, it's the chemicals they add to the cigarette that's
Exactly.
addictive.
It's
yeah. Well, I
the
knew
additives
tobacco
in
wasn't
foods.
bad, but my son told me it's nicotine that turns on the gene cancer. I mean,
But if it's in the food, then how is it bad if it's automatically in our
exactly. So, okay, well, I'm just out of the know with that, but okay.
All right, so we're looking at the different varieties of nicotine to come to that decision. Because
Okay.
people tend to summarize it all up and they put it all under one umbrella. Oh, it's all nicotine. They did the same thing with chocolate a while back. Chocolate's good. No, it's not good. Coffee is good. No, it's not good. Salt is good. No, it's not good. But you have to look at which classification and which type there you really need to talk about. So if you go to that list with the 5,661 nutrients, you'll find a form of aspirin in there. You'll find all kinds of things which you wouldn't think are in the urine, like the nicotinic acid, that actually have benefits in that particular form.
Well, I always have to be mindful that we cannot demonize creation. We like to fall into that one's good, one's bad, and that's just the duality illusion. And so that's a good example of that. Thank you.
Yep, I see it all the time. And we're going to stick with what we know. All right. Some days the urine looks what's called turbid, cloudy or hazy. This is because when enzymes in urine change urea into ammonia, urine becomes unstable and strongly alkaline. Therefore, evolving urine looks cloudy. That's why you see the sediment in there. It's a chemical change. The enzymes are changing it into the urea. Urine with highly ammonia content, when applied to the skin, plays an important role in beautifying it. Minerals in urine purify and activate body tissues, which are not purified by the blood. In addition, they mobilize the toxins while facilitating their excretion. Minerals rebuild tissue. What do you guys do to remineralize yourself? You get it from food like sea vegetables. Sometimes I take shilajit, I eat dulse, sea plasma. There's various things that come from nature or from the ocean that have abundance of minerals if you look for them.
sea moss.
Arctic salt.
That's enough, yeah.
Sea moss, Dr. Sebi got us clear on that one. Yep, that's also in the list. Minerals purify and activate the body. I already read that part. Cortisone, found in urine, counteracts inflammatory conditions, allergies, and other skin conditions. Melatonin maintains your wake-sleep cycle, and serotonin helps the nerve cells and brain to function. It's present in the morning urine to have a stress-reducing effect. It boosts the immune system, supports glandular functions, inhibits cancer, and reduces heart disease. All right, so the next page, it just highlighted some of these other key components that's in the urine, like growth hormone, erythropoietin, a hormone secreted by the kidneys, produces red blood cells, and some things I can't pronounce. Allotonin, you guys have heard of allotonin? It's in aloe vera, it's in comfrey, it's in wheatberry sprouts, and that helps to heal wounds a lot faster. They're also great to neutralize acid conditions inside the stomach. Tryptophan, anti-cancer substances, and on that list goes. By the way, One of my colleagues who's been doing urine therapy for 25 years, he's out in Chicago. Keep an eye out for Doc Mike Whittord. He came up with the statistics that we have over 500 million people in the world in 50 nations practicing urine therapy.
Wow.
Well, I started researching and digging and found out there has been a Chinese Urine Association for the last 10 years that talks about 7 million members. Germany has 7 or 10 million members in their association. So depending on what country, we have a greater population of people who practice it. Since I've been on Kauai, I've met 18 people. You wouldn't think that on a little island, right? There's about 30 to 50 people in all 5 Hawaiian islands that practice urine therapy that I'm aware of. So who knows? This thing is going to keep growing. Page 25. On page 25 in the old book, where you see the title, it says, Orin is the best and last supplement I will never buy. I don't know if you found that. Many water brothers and sisters are called by Shivambu and simply know and trust that it works. The way to know that Shivambu can be an answer to your health and wellness takes discipline and commitment. Not only will you see results soon, you'll be able to live a long, healthy quality of life by maintaining a continual daily practice. This is a good time to remind you that on the 15th of this month, I'm starting a series of Shivambu International Wellness Lifestyle conference calls. So anybody who wants to know how to build, maintain, and practice the kind of lifestyle that I have, I'm going to start teaching that. So you'll see those announcements on social media and so forth. How does Orin affect your attitude, your emotions, and your behavior? Thanks to the presence of various hormones and nutrients, drinking or topically applying Orin balances and improves one's attitude while restoring better brain health. Orin delivers vital nutrients to the brain, repairs important functions, and raises alkaline pH. It reduces tension and inflammation as it removes toxins and pathogens. Benefits from UT include feeling good in your body, better confidence, better sense of self, concentration, mental peace, improved memory, clarity, and creativity. Thanks to Orin, with nutrients like serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, magnesium, B vitamins, DHEA, people report feeling calmer, patient, and safer. With the absence of chemicals that cause addictions, many have gained their freedom from these self-destructive habits within a week of drinking pee. We have met people who've gotten off every possible addiction, from tobacco to cannabis, to sugar, to salt. One guy came out publicly and said he got off of pornography addiction. And I thought he was so brave. And I realized that he opened up for anybody who's troubled with addictions of any kind, that they could go publicly and free themselves of it. So that was a brave soul who said that on an open camera in front of all these people, that he was hooked on pornography. How about the people that are hooked on the internet? They're hooked on the truther channels. Come on, let's be real here. All right. The next chapter or the next section of this starts off with the question, are there any exceptions to who can benefit from UT? Do you ever have that question? The answer is nobody. There's no exceptions here. It can be practiced by anybody. I already mentioned this earlier. Whether you're young or old, a baby, adult, sick, healthy, or even a different species. It doesn't produce any side effects, after effects, ill effects, generally unavoidable when you use medicines or surgery. These treatments are fast, free, harmless, safe, and simple to administer for any chronic or acute condition without the help of any doctor or medical profession. Now, what's interesting is several things happen when the fake pandemic hit us in 2020, this is when more and more people's eyes woke up and they realized the medical profession weren't our friends. And so a lot of people were seeking alternative healthcare and healthcare practices, and voices were kept talking about urine therapy. More and more people have been finding their way to it and starting to practice it because of that wake-up call, which is pretty amazing. Now, if you get to the Shivambu hut, which I put in the chat feed earlier, in 2020, right before that thing happened, there was only 200 members in the Shivambu hut. As of 2024, we have 1,230 members, which tells me that ever since that thing hit, 300 new members a year signed up, which also says the interest has increased and increased. So you couldn't have picked a better time to get in on this lifestyle, on this way of living. Pretty exciting, huh? So the question comes up, and I think Carolyn, some other people might have voiced it, about using it with your pets. Many of the research tests on urine recycling have proven it works well with animals. Veterinarians have successfully used urine therapy at clinics as a treatment by administering urine orally. Now, we get testimonials all the time from people who give it to their dogs and their cats, their ferrets, their parrots, their reptilians, whatever they got, they're still getting better. So perhaps when you have a friend who has a sick dog or a cat and you suggest urine to them, it may reach them. It may not sound so weird as asking them to drink their own water, but they might try it on their pets. Now, have I ever mentioned baby stepping people? Because we're going to get into that when we get to the protocols. There are ways to introduce this to people so their mind can make the switch and make small incremental adjustments so it doesn't seem so far-fetched for them to drink this water. So we're going to teach that when we get to the protocols. It's called baby stepping. Because some people, if you tell them, you know, if you just drink your urine, you can heal this, that, and the other thing, and your life will be so much better. And they say, no, that's too weird for me. I can't even go there. But they're willing to soak their feet in it. They're willing to put it on their scratches and their sunburn and external skin conditions before they think of even drinking it. Have you ever thought of that, guys? Of course, I'm not going to tell them that if it goes in your skin, you drink it. You already drank it. You stuck it somewhere and it got in your bloodstream.
Getting stung by a jellyfish or man of war. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's known in most island places. I mean, they've got signs here. If you're stung by a man of war, you know, there's the cure. Because I had a friend who, we took him to the hospital. He had all these little spots on him because those little blue floaty things stung him. And we got in the hospital. They said, you know, you could have just added urine or meat tenderizer. And we didn't know. So the hospital gave him meat tenderizer, and he was a egomaniac, and we would have loved to all just push him down on the beach and pee on him, but it didn't play out that way. So it's a perfect remedy, and you can use it on any of your pets. It's a natural anti-vaccine that acts as an immune modulator that's very specific and personal. Autovaccine is defined by medical dictionary as a vaccine prepared from cultures of organisms or a virus from the patient's tissues or secretions. Well, maybe they're in on the germ theory, but who knows? Is diagnosing somebody necessary? No, because our disclaimer has always been, I'm not a doctor, I'm not trained in that system, so I'm not going to diagnose and I'm not going to recommend anything. But what we do in this community is we do what's called general treatment suggestions. And there's a whole chapter we're going to get into later in the course, where depending on what their condition is, anywhere from acne to AIDS to bronchitis to colon issues to back pain to head injuries, there's different suggestions you would make in form of the protocols that you would recommend to them. So we're going to learn that when we get into it. I mean, some people use medical devices, some people use kinesiology or intuition. They're all subjective. Diagnosing any disease is unnecessary. UT traces out the disease in the manner the police search out a thief in hiding and turns them in. Here's an example. Let's clarify the point by illustrating a historic fact. Perfect health is essential in yoga practices. Otherwise, concentration is likely to be disturbed by bodily disorders. Even mild attacks are likely to disturb meditation. It is therefore essential that a practitioner of yoga be free from all physical troubles. How do you accomplish this? The mystics of India, using intuition or wisdom, found out that the sure cure of urine was remarkable for all health complaints. Now, a lot of people associate urine therapy as originating in India because of the Damar Tantras, but it came out of every culture. There's the ones who started talking and writing about it. So if you dig into whatever country or state you live in, you might find some old indigenous people or some old traditionists who still practice, or they still kept the knowledge. So, you know, ask around. I'm talking to Lakota Sioux and various people of different Indian tribes, and they're aware of it. And this is so widely spread and universal, it's amazing it's not as popular as it's becoming. But this is becoming popular and popular every day. All right, page 40. Who would like to read about the whole body mind connection? Okay, I'll read. No volunteers. No problem. The reason I talk about this so much is because back in the day, back in the 70s, before we were called wellness practitioners, we were called holistic health practitioners. Do you remember that term?
Yes.
Thank you, Betty. Someone from the generation I'm in. Thank you. God bless you. However, some of us don't age very well. Most people that I've come across, they say, Sage, you look like you're in your 40s or 50s. I say, I love you. Stop there. Anybody want to guess what my age is?
I think I'm not guessing, but based on some things I've seen, you may be 65 or 66.
I'm 69.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah. And my mom lived to be 85. Grandma lived to be 93. So I've got longevity in my family. And that's not even, I'm going to go way past that.
Yes, I'm 73, so, and my mother lived to be 91.
Yeah, you'll pass her.
Oh, I know.
And you'll start meeting more and more people who are youthful in their spirit and in their energy and in their appearance that will blow people away when they go, Betty, 70, what, 72, 73?
73.
73, yeah. And people go, God, how could that be? You look great. So we're changing the whole association people have with chronological ages and aging.
Yes.
And more people, the ones that I've been doing live transmissions and satsangs, are realizing that something they lied to us about on this planet is the ability to live forever, to be physically mortal. And so start adding that into your conversations. You can talk to me about the subject. There is dozens of books on physical immortality that's out on the market. My mentor was one of them, and he went to India and various places where he said, only way to prove someone's immortal, they've got to be at least 300 years old. And he met 8 of them.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, when you talk to someone who's 2,000 years old in the same body, it'll blow you away.
Whoa.
That's what I've also heard, by the way, that if you practice it for 10 years, you can become like yeah, you go elevate to another consciousness or something. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
Well, you do, and the way to get there quicker is to heal all your negative beliefs. Clear out all the patterns in your thoughts that have been holding you back from living a life of purpose and meaning. You know, when you can tap into your true way of being, your nature, and your joy is your natural default setting, and your gratitude is your default setting, then you get more and more aliveness and a higher vibration. Some call ascension. By the way, ascension is a tricky word because a lot of the New Agers say, "Well, I'm working on my ascension." I'm going, the only way to ascend is to ascend your limits in your mind and be totally present. That's true mastery. You don't have to go somewhere to find bliss. You can be in the moment and be happy. Sign me up. All right, so this whole body-mind connection thing, I keep bringing it up because if people approach every area of your life, the mental, emotional, the physical, and the spiritual, and they have found a way to blend it all together so it forms the basis of your wellness practice, then you'll achieve balance a lot quicker. We know people who eat right and they have a bad attitude and they get sick. We know people that are rich and they have no connection to God or to spirituality and they're sick. And we know people who do yoga and they emotionally wreck. They're emotional wreck. So look in your life and see what area needs to be tweaked and upgraded and make the correction when you can. Does that make sense? Now, this is very important when you're talking to people about getting into urine therapy. And since we're not approaching it like the medical approach, you're never going to say, just drink your water and all the best, go. You're going to give them some kind of a foundation that they can take it into their life and make changes and actually get excited and be proactive with their healing. Because people are floundering around, they're scared, they're feeling hopeless. These are the ones that reach out to me in the middle of the night. Help me, what do I do? And so I have to open up and be a 911 operator. What do you need? Let's talk it through. And I help people off that edge a lot because they don't know what to do anymore because they've given up on the medical people. And here's an answer right here, and I know how it works. So I love to consult with people. So getting them to practice these different 4 areas will help a great deal. The 2 components that make it work even better, which one I mentioned was faith. The other component we're going to talk about later in the course, and that's called sense of humor. I mean, you're talking about drinking your pee, you got to have a sense of humor. Because people might discover you pee in the bathtub and they may not take it the right way. So you got to know how to present the subject. I wrote a book. I wrote a book just for the urine therapy community called The Piscabulary of Urinisms. So if you ever want to know how to have different words to use, like pistacular and pfessor and oriniverse, it's in this book. And so it's available on Amazon. We're working on the 2nd edition right now because there's words we didn't get the first time. And this is the kind of book you'd want to either put on the tank behind your toilet so people will read it in the bathroom, put it on your coffee table, or give it to your naturopath to put in his reception area. They won't know what to think of you. Hold on a second. Now, some of you asked about a starter book to give away to people. And so I developed the handbook, the Healing Water from Within handbook. So it answers all the questions, and it's more compact, it's thinner, and it's a great thing. I just had to hand out to people and let them be self-taught. Now, all these books are available on Amazon. If I have them in stock, some people buy signed copies. That's available if you're in the United States. I'll ship it. We'll get it reasonable to people. Remember, there's only 2 reasons people get sick. I've already told you this. Anybody guess the 2 reasons people get sick? It's either what you eat or what's eating you.
Yeah.
Betty caught that.
Yes.
If you don't work with the things that trigger you, charge you, cause you to react instead of respond, you're setting yourself up for suffering and discomfort and disease. So when you do enough urine therapy and you're calm enough and you realize what people are telling you is either I love you or I'm scared, then any time we misperceive that as a form of attack, we're setting ourselves up to be affected by that. Whether you're around a calm person or a narcissist or somebody who is like lashing out at you, if you can stay calm and centered like a martial art, you realize that's their stuff and you won't take it personal. I know it's a slippery thing, Nancy, but lots of practice, you get to the point where you're not affected. You can stay fearless and calm, whatever the situation is. And in 2024, we need it more than ever. While everybody's being put in a position where we're pinning brothers against brothers and sisters against sisters and countries against country and religion against and gender, blah, 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 has nothing to do with I love you, you're a soul and you matter. Betty, you want to say something?
Oh, no.
You're a soul and you matter. I learned that in Hawaii, what true aloha means. I mean, ha means breath. So when you're saying aloha, you're extending love through the breath to another person. So it's a recognition of another soul. And some people will say it. You can feel the sincerity of people saying aloha. And then you hear other people say it like it's just a verse in Hollywood. Oh, aloha. So I've gained a lot of respect for the culture of Hawaii here because they recognize the soul. When you can talk soul to people, it's a whole nother way to relate. So any questions about the holistic health, the whole body mind connection and a way to supercharge your practice? Did you understand what that chapter was all about? So look at your life. Some people, by the way, they journal their journey. They start writing in their journal what they did, what they ate, what they didn't eat, whether they fasted, what they added, what they got rid of, so they can see what to correct the next time they start approaching their health and their diet. Some people, and I would love you guys to do this, since our Shiva Lifestyle store, we also have a newsletter. If you want to read the February edition, we're about to post the March edition. We love content from people. I love to see more people sharing their before and after pictures, sharing their testimonials, sharing their insights, their research, their understanding. So if you ever want to share any of that with myself and with our staff over at the newsletter, you go to shivalifestyle.com and there's places to submit that and get on our mailing list. Any questions? Page 32, page 25, page 40 we just read. We already read that about the research. Best medicine, nobody can sell it to you. All right, so I'm going to show you all these different, since the protocols take some time, it usually takes at least 2 full classes to do all the protocols. So for those that came a little late to class, I didn't show you all the different pieces of equipment and supplies that I have. And many of those are at the in the store at the Shivambu Lifestyle, but let's bring some of them out so you can see what these guys are. I think, Betty, you mentioned the nebulizer, right?
I did.
No, yeah, she did.
All right, are you using the mesh nebulizer?
Not that one, but it's similar. It's small, and I'm using the it's got the face on it.
It's got the cover for the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those come with the cover for both
I
adults.
think it has that too.
Okay. Well, originally when I started writing about nebulizers and diffusers, it was the kind you would use for essential oils,
Oh,
right? And so you'd put it in a little container inside the device. It's like a tank. You put in the oil, you put the top on, you turn it on, and then it changes into smaller particles and it diffuses up in the air. However, my son Chitta found this on the internet and he started using it. He turned me on to it. This is called a mesh nebulizer. So it has fine little screens and mesh inside there, and it changes the liquid of the urine to vapor, to gas, to steam, whatever you want to call it. Right? So it's going to have a compartment at the top. It holds about 1/3 of an ounce. It's either battery operated or you can run it through a USB port or on the wall socket. And then when it comes out, it's going to come out like a vapor and a gas. And you can either suck it in the mouth, you can snort it up the nose, you can feather it over your eyelids, you can exfoliate your face and your ears. You can use your imagination, but this is very practical to take anywhere. Okay? We're not going into full teaching yet. Eye cups.
Yeah.
My preference is glass. Some companies sell it in hard plastic, but this is a glass eye cup and they are formed for the concave, the turn of the eyeball. This is why shot glasses don't work.
Hmm.
So you get one that's designed for the curvature of the eyeball, which you can see on the outer side. So it fits right there where it's supposed to. And when you do the protocol, you'll learn how to hold it for as long as you can. Now in 2019, here comes George Johnson into my life. And he was demonstrating this protocol on his Facebook page. And I was so inspired, I had to get one for myself and start using it. Like the protocols from 1994, when Cohen Vanderkroon wrote those 10 or 11 protocols, a lot was discovered and included in my book since that time. And one came from George Johnson, and it's swimming goggles, which is way cool, huh? You can hold urine on both eyes at the same time. Where are you? Oh, there you are. So these are swimming goggles, and you can get them anywhere, including the lost and found at rec centers, because people leave them there all the time. You can get these free if you're paying attention. So this is the advanced version of the eye cup. And that's written in the book too, and it's also at the store. You know what that's called, Theo?
Yeah, I forgot the name. Nettle,
Anybody want
nettle, it's something with nettle.
neti pot?
Nettle. Neti pot.
Neti pot. Most people know it from the yoga practices. Yeah, and you pour it from one nostril and it pours out the other nostril. And I'm going to explain in the class why it's not as efficient of getting urine up to the sinuses and to the brain as snorting and drinking up the nose. And we're going to talk a lot about nose drinking because people overlook it or they avoid it. Kind of like injections. It's the same kind of thing. All right.
That's an earbud, but you can use it, I guess, to snort as well.
Your imagination will tell you. Now, this is in the children's section of most grocery stores for ear rinsing,
Yeah.
right? So you can either use it for your nose, your ears, your mouth, or an implant up the rectum. It holds about 2 ounces. Okay, it's a silicone soft little bulb. This is what brand is this? Tupperware, Rubbermaid. Anyway, soft plastic tub. Both feet will fit in there, and you'll learn the protocol when we get to that part. That's for foot soaking or hand soaking.
Yep.
All right. It doesn't get more intimate than this. This will save your life. This is an enema bag. Any good naturopath, nutritionist, chiropractor, anybody who's really trained in self-healing will tell you that the first place you want to start cleaning up to get your health back is your intestines.
Oh, yeah.
If you got a migraine headache, if you got constipation, if you got a pain in your back, if you've got discomfort and aches through the body, chances are it's because there's blockages in the small intestines or in the large intestines that's causing the colon to expand and push out to those areas of the body. And you'll come to discover that a lot of times what people are told they have a problem with is really misdiagnosed constipation. So when people do enemas, their headaches go away, their migraines go away, their back pain goes away, the inflammation, this, that, and the other part goes away. So did they have a problem in their back, or are they full of doo-doo? You have to look at that. Okay. Spray bottle. Keep it in your bathtub. When you're taking a shower, when you're taking a bath, we'll go into that. This is a 60 milliliter. It's called a Nasaline is the brand. And what you do is you buy it, comes in a box, and it comes with a saline solution. Throw it away and just keep this part. It's like 12 bucks. And then you're gonna learn how to get this up into your brain, up into your sinuses, and how to use the muscle behind here so you can drink it behind the throat. And why nose drinking needs to be included in more and more people's protocols. Because when you're going through your day, this is why I keep these everywhere. And this is why I get used to snorting out of my hand. Because somewhere in the middle of the day, when your brain's not online, it's not tracking, you can't seem to follow through with an idea, your creative juices are blocked, you start snorting something, drinking some up your nose. It's amazing how quick things come back for you. All of a sudden, your energy returns and your brain starts working better. Okay, you want to get it past the blood-brain barrier up into the third eye, and this is where people are actually decalcifying their third eye. So it is possible, despite what kind of chemicals, heavy metals, and trapped things are in our body, you can still get your brain back and your body back and your gut back, which has been a godsend for a lot of people. All right, these two things. One's a spray top, one's a pump. Holds an ounce or two. Keep these in everything. Keep them everywhere because you never know. The other thing is, I notice that when I keep it in my car, every now and then I'm out in the public doing foot massage and reflexology on this island. And I went to work on a woman. She was sitting next to this event. We got her on the grass. And right before she went to sit down, she puts her hands on this post where she was going to lock up her bicycle. And she grazed her hand over a nail. And her hand was bleeding. And it's interesting enough, she didn't know who I was really. She says, I just heard about urine therapy about 2 years ago. I said, oh, I'm all about it. Let me go to my car. I'll get some urine. I'll be right back. So I sprayed my urine all over her hand and stopped bleeding. The next day she calls me back. She says it's starting to heal fast. So keep this with you because you never know if it's going to be first aid for someone else. But you hadn't thought about that, but we just planned the idea. All right, you know about the P cup now, P sport. This is so cool. I love this one. I made a deal with the guy. I partnered up with the guy. I gave him my proposal, and he says, we hadn't thought about that. I said, you're missing out on the millions, a whole market you missed out on, because gals can use it, guys can use it. Could you possibly make these in yellow? I said, could you put on our slogan, just drink it? So for now, if you go to the lifestyle store, you'll find the link, and they were nice enough to put a statement about me and my face on their website. So the water community will try it out. All right, any questions about some of these protocols? Oh, two more things. 3 more things. If you're using pH strips, you know what these guys are, right?
Yes.
All right. Don't just buy them generically out at the store, but look for the ones that go up to 14. Some of them only stop at 8.
Yeah.
The wrong range.
So the reason I point that out, because the people who have the evolving aura, and Doc Mike is one of them. He came to Boulder. I was living in Boulder at the time, and one of our mentors who'd been doing urine therapy since 1984 was sucked into the medical industry because he had a respiratory condition. And so he found himself in the emergency part of the hospital, and we were, unbeknownst to the nurses, we were giving him massages with Orin. We were feeding Orin. And Doc Mike brought his, and he had 13-year-old Orin that was measured at 13 to 14 pH.
Wow.
And what blew me away is that it didn't taste bad at all, even though it looked black.
Hmm.
So the last 2 items you want to keep around, they're useful for just about everything. Cotton balls. You get a scratch, a bite, a burn, you need to soothe your eyes. Cotton balls. Soak it up. You can also put it in your belly button. Cotton balls.
Yeah.
Everybody has them. Make sure you get organic so you don't have weird chemicals in it. Like chlorine, they bleach these things. So get organic. And the other thing you can use is Q-tips. You can either use them for your ears, or you can swab the inside of your nose, or wherever you need to use that for.
And they have the long stem sterile Q-tip now it's on a wooden stick.
Right. Yeah, only one side has the cotton.
Yes.
Okay, are they organic?
I believe they are. They definitely are sterile, so I'm assuming they are organic.
Okay. Something else I'd like to point out, I just got a video on it, and in case you didn't know this fact, but people get sick from using generic toilet paper.
Yes.
Most toilet paper has chlorine and chemicals in it, so you've got to find something organic that's no chlorine and no kind of chemicals in it.
Yeah. Now, not really plugging Trader Joe's, but they do have a chlorine-free toilet paper.
Okay.
And I use that one because I found out about the chemicals years ago in the toilet paper.
All right. Do they also have chemical-free paper towels and napkins?
I think the paper towels are also, I'm not sure. I have some I need to check. I don't use them regularly, but I think I got to check. They be chlorine free as well.
Good. Please do, because we have to really do our research. And when you have anything touch our body, including clothes, I mean, I stopped using polyester and rayon years ago, and locked in cotton and linen and hemp. So you have to be particular about because we're being inundated in every direction possible, from air to food to water to EMFs. So we have to do our best to keep our field and our body clean of that. Betty?
Okay, I'm looking at them now to see if they are chlorine free.
Oh, if they offer that?
No, I'm looking at them. I don't see. I definitely know the toilet paper is, but this is just saying recycled 80% post-consumer content. But it's not.
Which means what? They recycled it?
Yeah.
That doesn't guarantee nada.
What did you say?
That doesn't guarantee nada, not a
No, I
thing.
know it doesn't. I'm just looking, I'm just reading what I saw. This one, I'm not sure if, I thought I got these because I was using them for my skin only. And I thought I saw that they were chlorine free, but I'm not seeing it now. Okay, yes, they are. No chlorine bleach was used in the manufacturing of this product. So the paper towels, 3 in a pack, and the toilet paper is chlorine free.
Okay. So guys, make a note of that next time you go shopping. You may want to change those things out with something that's healthier and organic. All right, we got about 25 minutes here. Now, what we do in all the classes is 5 to 8 minutes before, right as we close the class, what I like to do, and if you guys want to play around with me, is I'll turn off the recording and we can talk about any subject under the sun while we have each other. And that includes controversial things and conspiracy things. So that's up to you. We're going to start into chapter 7. And then we're going to lead in the next class is tomorrow, same time. Can everybody make it?
Yes.
All right. As far as I know, the Zoom link stays the same during the whole series. It should. And I'll do my best to open up the call 15 minutes ahead of time. So if anybody can't get on, just shoot me out a text or private message, however you reach me. Page, chapter 7. Warning. It's not generally recommended to combine urotherapy with the use of prescribed chemical, allopathic medicines or recreational drugs. The combination may be dangerous to your health. Why take the risk? This is the medical mindset, right? Most of the people that do urine therapy, they take their urine orally and topically anytime they want to. But the people are still a little nervous or anxious about it. I'll give them a little safety net by saying, create a window, an hour or two on either side of those medications, right? So they're concerned it might catch up with the drugs. It might neutralize them, like that's a bad thing. And so just for their peace of mind, I say, well, you may want to create a little window between, on either side of taking it. And then ultimately what happens, which is so far out, is that people notice that they lose their interest in the drugs, their brain chemistry resets, their body is healthier, and they just go cold turkey. They don't tell their doctor, just go, no, I don't want it anymore. So that's why I wrote it in the book. Urotherapy protocols, page 45, if you got the old book. I feel like Course in Miracles. In the old book, we have this, and in the new book, we have this. Shivambu is a free all-purpose self-care medicine. You caught that. Make Orin your default answer to any and all health concerns or conditions. Remind yourself, you carry Shivambu in a secret container called your bladder, in a body that speaks a language just the two of you can understand. You see how personal this is? Returning the healing water from your source back to your source will ensure a long, healthy, and joyous life indeed. Build a lifestyle that'll keep you young and healthy for your entire life by practicing these protocols every day. Shivambu will become a labor of love. When I'm in the bathtub, first of all, for you people who might think that gray might start coming into your hair, every time I put Orin on my hair, it gets darker. And most of my friends that are in their 60s and 70s have gray hair. Even some people in their 40s. So you can reverse the hair color, which is amazing. As any healthy, vibrant, and devoted Shivambu enthusiast, why they're happy and why they are well, they will exclaim with great passion in their voice, I'm blessed with health and aliveness because I drink my water. So we're getting to the point where we start in the book, in the chapter of the protocols, where we're going to start talking about what most people think urine therapy is. Hi, Carolyn. What most people think urine therapy is simply just the oral use of it, which is only the tip of the urine iceberg. It's only the tip of it. It not only addresses the diseases, makes a perfect rejuvenating tonic, but that's just the oral application. So here's the baby step. And I know it, so I don't have to look at it. Baby step.
Brother Saints, I'm so sorry to interrupt. You guys, I gotta go. I have a pickleball date. I'm gonna be on tomorrow. Thank you so much. I'll listen to this last bit of the recording, and I look forward to joining you all tomorrow, okay?
Great having you.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Aloha. All right. So here's a baby steps. Here's how to baby step people who have never, ever, ever considered drinking their pee. They might have a block. They might have defenses up. And you say, well, let's try a baby step. Would you be willing to do a baby step? And they say, okay, fine. Here's what you tell them to do. Collect some of their water. Theo, have them collect your water. Then have them put their finger in the water. Lift up their finger and notice they didn't get sick or die. That's the first step. All right. So what you're doing is creating a new association to replace their negative association. You're building what's called a pathway or a neural link so their mind can take in a new idea. You're baby stepping them. Number 2, have them put their finger in their water and lick it off their finger. Tell them that to notice that they didn't get sick or die. You see, we're throwing a little humor in there while we're teaching. All right, number 3, you're going to get a dropper bottle and squeeze a whole dropper full and have them put one drop or the entire dropper full on their tongue or under their tongue if you do subliminal. All right. And you're eventually moving them to where they can get comfortable with it. When you get up to an ounce or more, you can cut them loose. They figured it out. So you can try and advise and come up with any baby step you can, just so they can start realizing that maybe you're not an idiot and you're not in a cult and you're not insane. You might be onto something. Do you ever think people thought that way about you? Oh, Theo, he's in some kind of crazy group. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have these conversations with my wife and my mother-in-law all the time. I think I'm completely lost it.
Yeah, well, my wife, I was married for 22 years, and my wife discovered I was doing urine therapy, and she says, well, that's your thing. You know, everyone has got to have a hobby. I'm not interested. And I dropped it. But 22 years later, she died of colon cancer. And had I known what I know now, and my confidence and certainty was a lot higher then than it is now, could have saved her life.
Sorry to hear, man.
So I hope that's an incentive to not hold back to tell people. Because you don't know what turning points they're at and how frail they are. And you might just be the messenger of spirit to help save their life. How dare you hold that back? Beginners start by taking little sips of urine through the day, soon be comfortable drinking more of their water. They are often amazed how quickly they feel their energy and clarity of mind return. And a lot of people said they felt the lift after the first drink. Anybody feel a shift or notice anything after your first drink?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. When I was doing it, I felt very depressed because I recently moved to another country, and I did it for a couple of weeks, and I felt every day I felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So is that inspiring?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever quit?
No, I don't see a reason why why I wouldn't why I would quit.
Yeah, I don't either. I've been nonstop for 29, 30 years. And what amazes me is people reach me through the community on social media and they say, oh yeah, I did this 10 years ago and I'm now coming back. I go, why did you take a 10-year vacation? So people realize that they had something precious and had it all along and it was free and they got distracted or they lost faith in it. You know, our detox was too intense and they said, oh, it must be the urine. No,
Mm.
got to make sure.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
And this is why I'm glad you guys are studying this because you got to be armed with these answers and information when somebody approaches you, either in a been there, done that, or help me, I'm stuck, scared, and sick. What can we do? And you're able to guide them.
Yeah. But it's waste, no? That's what my mother-in-law said. Why would you drink your waste? It's all toxins. Well, it's
Yes,
already clean.
yes. And there's two things you can tell her.
Mm.
First thing you would say to her, and this is what we're going to go over when we handle objections in the course. Where did you
Mm.
get that idea from?
Mm.
And most people just go along with the story that they've been told. Another thing I said, well, if they lied to us about everything else, how do you know they didn't lie to us about our urine? So you got to get good at these different responses so you can help people to make to understand it and make the gap, make the leap.
Mm.
Okay. Um, the defining moment happens when one realizes that Shivambu is the real deal, the real thing. They saw the light. They are motivated by the possibility of achieving their health goals and a wonderful life ahead. Simply increase the quantity of each orange drink as you make your way to 6 ounces or larger, up to a liter or more a day. It's the best remedy for killing pathogens, fungus, parasites in the gut, which in turn frees us from food slavery and addiction.
Wow.
Now, some people, we're going to go into looping here later on in this book, later on in the chapter. You know what looping is?
No.
Uh, Nancy, you want to explain?
I believe that it is drinking everything as you go along during the day. You consume all of your
Everything you collect
consume in the day.
in the day, you drink it. Now, that doesn't mean you're fasting,
Mm.
though that's what you do when you're fasting, is that's all you drink. You either drink orange or distilled water or fresh juices.
Oh, so you can eat foods and loop. Is that what
Yes,
you're saying? Okay. But you
yes.
can go on then a fast and just loop.
Not necessarily a fast. I would recommend that you eat light living foods or see if you can practice one meal a day.
Mm.
So that way you're basically fasting the every other 12 hours, which is what intermittent fasting is. People will not eat till noon and they're fasting 12 to 16 hours every day. So you just narrow the window of eating time.
Yeah, that's what I was doing also.
And how did that work for you?
Yeah, good. You had more energy actually.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that like the opposite of the way they used to tell us? Breakfast is the most important meal of the
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
I was raised
Yeah.
with a family that ate 3 meals a day, had snacks throughout the day. Dad would be caught at
Mm.
midnight, have a midnight snack. And I weighed 35 pounds more than I do now.
Yeah.
So you got to learn to eat for yourself and think for yourself.
Well, it's almost everything they say you have to do the opposites.
Isn't that
Right?
the truth? That is the truth. I was taught to question everything I was led to believe is true. In order to find the truth, you have to question everything that you were taught was truth.
Mm.
And eventually you sort all that away and it gets easier and easier. And, you know, you don't have to hold all that information in your head.
Mm.
So as much as you can drink, a simple rule of thumb is drink as much as you can, as often as you can. For the people who say, well, how much should I drink during the day? Drink as much as you can. Figure out what that means to you. You know, add more or take out less, but be consistent every day. If it's just the morning or if it's the afternoon, I keep some in my car. So when I'm driving around places, I've got a container like a coffee cup right between the dash, just below the dashboard. Boom. I take some, I go into the library, I go down to the beach, I go with somebody, and the energy stays with you. It's like second and third waves of energy throughout the day. No caffeine, no stimulants, no drugs. You can actually pull this off.
Brother Sage,
Betty, Sister Betty.
did you mention that you were turning off the recording near the last few minutes?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. So we
Yes.
could talk about anything and everything.
Everything and anything. Let me come to a stopping part here. Taking Orin doesn't worsen or increase any health conditions. There is a slim chance it might be very mild and unrecognizable, as in a detox or a purification a situation. When we drink fresh Orin in any considerable quantity, especially in the initial months of starting UT, it may create diarrhea-like symptoms, which will soon heal. Simply stop for a day, switch to topical protocols during that day off, and then start drinking Orin again in smaller doses, like 3 to 5 ounces, and then increase the proportions when you feel it's okay to do so. We'll go into more of that tomorrow. Any questions, concerns, or anything that we learned in class today you want me to go over? I'm not your typical teacher. I know there's these teachers out there like Dr. So-and-so. They've got fancy screenshots and they've got PDF files and they've got, what do you call those things? PowerPoint presentations and all that stuff. We still get taught. We still learn a lot and have fun. All right, guys, we're going to take off the recording because Betty's got a whole bunch she wants to talk about. Okay, tomorrow, same time, same link, 8:30 Hawaii time. You all got that?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to the first day of class.